Hello everyone. In the previous video, I mainly talked a bit about Chen Min'er's story and to understand clearly why Chen Min'er kept losing in the competition, why Qiang and Deng Xuexiang were able to pull off a comeback and become successors, and how Xi Jinping arranged the layout for his own successors first. We need to understand clearly the CCP's successor system. Today, we'll take a careful, thorough look at the Chinese Communist Party's successor system. The term successor has different meanings in different societies. In a truly democratic society, there are only successors of individuals or political parties. There are rarely successors to a head of state. Even if there are, it's not very important because the new national leader must go through a citizens' election and the predecessor's recommended successor may not necessarily become the new national leader. But in an authoritarian society, whether the successor is the right one is tied to the entire organisation's future prospects, and whether the successor's position is secure is closely linked to political struggle. Therefore, in an autocratic dynasty, the crown prince is the foundation of the state. It is the single most important matter for a dynasty. The CCP's successor system also has a very long history. As the first-generation leader after the CCP established its regime, and as a great dictator, Mao Zedong had as many as 5 generations of successors. After 1959, the work of the CCP Central Committee was divided into the first line and the second line, and Mao Zedong retreated to the second line. Liu Shaoqi and Deng Xiaoping, as Mao Zedong's 2 successors, presided over first-line work. After Mao Zedong brought down Liu Shaoqi in 1966, he confirmed Lin Biao as deputy commander and successor and wrote this into the party constitution at the CCP's 9th Party Congress. After the September 13 incident in 1971, Mao Zedong chose the 8-year-old Wang Hongwen as his successor and fast-tracked him with a surprise promotion to vice chairman. After that, because Wang Hongwen's level was really not up to it, Mao Zedong ultimately settled on Hua Guofeng as his final successor. In the 1,980 seconds under Deng Xiaoping's stewardship, Deng Xiaoping and Chen Yun sat in the top tier of supreme power, while Hu Yaobang and Xuexiang were only in the second tier. Although Hu and Zhao were nominally the top leaders, in reality they were always in the position of successors. Deng Xiaoping once said, "If we want to achieve the 4 modernizations, we need a group of officials who are in the prime of life and have professional knowledge. We must estimate this soberly. Otherwise, our 4 modernizations will only turn into shouting slogans. The old comrades must yield. We must seriously select successors." In addition to this, Deng and Chen also successively designated Wang Zhaoguo and Hu Qili as successors across generations. With the downfalls of Hu Yaobang and Xuexiang, Deng Xiaoping's first successor arrangement also ended in failure. With recommendations from Chen Yun and Li Shenyan, Deng Xiaoping chose Jiang Zemin as his successor, and the latter successfully laughed last. In the power structure formed in Deng Xiaoping's later years, the 3 positions with the greatest power in China were the CCP General Secretary, the Chairman of the Central Military Commission, and the President of the State, with the Supreme Ruler simultaneously holding all 3 posts. Through the struggles from Deng Xiaoping's later period to the eras of Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao, the CCP gradually formed the later rule-bound successor system. This system has 3 premises. First, among these 3 posts, the General Secretary and the Chairman of the Central Military Commission have no term limits, but the President has a 2-term limit. This means the Supreme Ruler's term is only 10 years. After 2 terms, he must hand these posts over to a successor. This effectively sets the length of time the Supreme Ruler can stay in power. Second, for a long time, the age requirement for the Politburo Standing Committee as collective leadership was extremely strict, namely 7 up, 8 down. It means that at the time of a party congress, those 67 or younger can be selected into the Standing Committee. Those who have reached 68 must retire. For a long time, this was a hard rule. Third, in practice, the incumbent ruler does not have the power to designate the next generation's successor, but does have the power to designate a successor across generations. Deng Xiaoping designated Hu Jintao, Jiang Zemin designated Xi Jinping, Hu Jintao in turn designated Hu Chunhua, and Wen Jiabao and Zheng Qinghong jointly designated Sun Zhengcai. Before 2022, the 3 points above became customary tacit rules within the CCP. This arrangement enabled the CCP to achieve the 2 most stable power transitions in modern history. In 2002, from Jiang Zemin to Hu Jintao, and in 2012 from Hu Jintao to Xi Jinping. If we follow the three principles above, then the 20th Party Congress in 2022 should have looked like this. Xi Jinping, after completing 2 terms, should have retired, though he could have appropriately kept the Central Military Commission chairmanship or the leadership of some leading group. Second, Qiang, born in 1959, could only serve 1 term as a standing committee member, so he could not become the first-in-line successor because that would affect continuity of governance. Deng Xuexiang, due to lacking experience as the top leader in a locality, would also find it difficult to arrive in one step into the post of General Secretary or Premier. Third, since Zhengcai had already been investigated, the new General Secretary and Premier at the 20th Party Congress would be chosen between Chunhua and Chen Min'er. Whether serving as General Secretary or Premier, Chen Min'er would be one of the successor echelon candidates. Before 2016, as both Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao had followed these 3 rules, many in society generally believed Xi Jinping would mostly follow these tacit arrangements. This is also why, among the public and abroad, rumours spread from 2013 that Chen Min'er would be one of the successors. Indeed, if these 3 rules did not change, plus the restrictive condition that the successor must win Xi Jinping's trust, Chen Min'er was the only candidate who fit. So how does Xi Jinping view these 3 tacit arrangements? How did he deploy his successor strategy? And how did Chen Min'er gradually fall behind Qiang and Deng Xuexiang? In fact, Xi Jinping's arrangements regarding successors can roughly be divided into 3 stages. The first stage was before the 4th plenum of the 18th Central Committee in 2016, before Xi Jinping was established as the core, before he had stabilised his position. In this stage, most of Xi Jinping's energy was spent thinking about how to secure his own position. He had neither the surplus energy to think much about successors, nor the ability to seriously consider the successor issue. At that time, Jiang Zemin was still the CCP's de facto boss, and Hu Jintao also had significant influence. Xi Jinping did not have the ability to challenge the existing rules. He could only express respect for the successor rules or deliberately ignore these problems. In this stage, Xi Jinping expressed respect for Hu Chunhua and Zhengcai and tried to get to know these 2 young men. When he watched the South China Sea military exercise, he specifically asked Hu Chunhua to accompany him. For his first inspection trip in 2016, he chose Chongqing. This was him trying to observe the 2 young men. At the same time, Xi Jinping accelerated the grooming of young people within his own team. He had Chen Min'er successively take over as governor and then party secretary of Guizhou. He had Qiang successively take over as governor of Zhejiang and then party secretary of Jiangsu. He rapidly filled out their resumes so they met the basic conditions to enter the Politburo. In this period, Deng Xuexiang was still only a deputy director of the general office. Xi was not within the main range of successors Xi was considering. The second stage was from the 2016 4th plenum of the 18th Central Committee to the Constitutional Amendment in 2018. In this stage, Xi Jinping had been preliminarily confirmed as the leadership core, becoming the strongest top talker inside the party. Jiang Zemin retreated to 2nd place on the power ranking. Hu Jintao's influence continued to weaken, but still could not be underestimated. Zheng Qinghong's and Wen Jiabao's political influence had become very small, and Xi Jinping began partially abolishing these 3 tacit arrangements. In this stage, Xi Jinping could not wait to destroy the successor layout left to him by his predecessor. He launched comprehensive investigations into both Hu Chunhua and Zhengcai, ranging from discipline inspection probing to the use of surveillance methods. Ultimately, because Zheng Qinghong's and Wen Jiabao's influence had already become negligible, and because Zhengcai himself exposed ambitions, corruption, and lazy governance problems, Zhengcai was the first to be taken down. Of course, what was put on the table was still Zhengcai's corruption problem. Once the evidence is solid, there is no elder who would support a successor full of issues. Hu Chunhua, because he was relatively honest and clean, and because Hu Jintao's political influence was still there, remained unharmed, but he became a frightened bird, and expectations for him inside and outside the party fell sharply. At the 19th Party Congress, Xi Jinping continued to advance the careers of 3 post-60 seconds officials from his own faction and sent all of them into the Politburo. Qiang became party secretary of Shanghai, Deng Xuexiang became director of the general office, Chen Min'er was transferred to become party secretary of Chongqing. In this stage, Chen Min'er still maintained a lead over people of the same generation, but he had already clearly fallen behind Li Qiang. The importance of being party secretary of Chongqing and party secretary of Shanghai cannot be mentioned in the same breath. Li Qiang once again defeated his old rival. Even so, Chen Min'er and Deng Xuexiang still maintained a balance of power, and Chen Min'er still retained the possibility of impacting the Standing Committee at the 20th Party Congress. Because the outside world generally believed Deng Xuexiang's resume had many defects, many people still looked favourably on Chen Min'er's prospects. The third stage was from the 2018 constitutional amendment to the 20th Party Congress in 2022. In this stage, Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao were already very old. Xi Jinping was set up as the one and only. His power expanded to an unprecedented degree, and no one could challenge his power anymore. Xi Jinping completely broke the three tacit arrangements. Not only did he begin a third term, he also moved Hu Chunhua to the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, completely breaking the successor layout left by his predecessors. After all, the CCP never wrote these rules into the party constitution, nor put them on the table and publicly announced them. So these rules were only de facto hidden rules good at restraining gentlemen, not effective against petty men. And Xi Jinping does not care about the moral evaluation of being a gentleman or a petty man. He only wants the actual winning result. At the same time, he arranged both Li Qiang and Deng Xuexiang to post 60 seconds into the Standing Committee, with one serving as Premier and the other as Executive Vice Premier. Chen Min'er became a complete loser. Not only was he thoroughly surpassed by Deng Xuexiang, he was also surpassed by many peers, and he received only the not-so-ideal post of Party Secretary of Tianjin. Widely viewed pessimistically by all sides, Chen Min'er and Li Qiang, as two young people in Xi Jinping's team of similar age, have long had a de facto competitive relationship. Li Qiang was born in 1959 and came out of the Wenzhou faction in Zhejiang politics. Chen Min'er was born in 1960 and came out of the Zhuji faction. Chen Min'er was once ahead of Li Qiang in his official career. When Xi Jinping arrived in Zhejiang, Chen Min'er had already been promoted by Zhang Dejiang to Provincial Standing Committee member and propaganda chief, while Li Qiang at that time was still a department-level Wenzhou party secretary. Their first competition occurred when Xi Jinping was selecting a provincial party secretary-general. Xi chose Li Qiang as his secretary-general, and for that he reassigned the then secretary-general Zhang Shi to become the party committee secretary of Zhejiang University. This was a crucial victory that linked Li Qiang's fate with Xi Jinping, making him the closest young person in Xi Jinping's political life, and also predestining the difference between his career trajectory and Chen Min'er's. In Xi Jinping's mind, Li Qiang has always been ranked as the number one successor. Chen Min'er has only been second, or even further back. This can be seen from later arrangements. Chen Min'er was arranged to govern Guizhou, while Li Qiang was arranged to govern Zhejiang and Jiangsu. At the 19th Party Congress, Chen Min'er was arranged in Chongqing, while Li Qiang was arranged in Shanghai. The difference in local posts is obvious. The claim that Chen Min'er was the main successor mainly came from the hearsay spread by some folk organisation department heads and overseas media, because at that time, the 7-up, 8-down arrangement had not yet been broken. People generally believe Li Qiang, because he was 1 year over the age line, could not serve a full 2 terms on the Standing Committee and thus could not be the main successor. But in Xi Jinping's mind, the 6-7-up, 6-8-down rule was never a real issue. Li Qiang was always his first-in-line successor. So the claim that Chen Min'er was the main successor has always been a folk claim. Xi Jinping never thought that way, and within the CCP there was never such a plan. As for Deng Xuexiang, in the first stage mentioned above, Chen Min'er was comprehensively ahead of Deng Xuexiang. Chen was already party secretary of Guizhou, while Deng was only a deputy director of the general office. In the second stage, the two began to run neck and neck. Both were Politburo members, and there was no obvious winner. In the third stage, Chen Min'er was left far behind by Deng Xuexiang and was also overtaken by many other peers. So what caused Chen Min'er to keep falling behind? First, although Chen Min'er and Xi Jinping knew each other early, Chen Min'er's promotion to vice ministerial level came under Xi Jinping's predecessor Zhang Dejiang. He was not personally promoted by Xi Jinping. This is an original problem. More troublesome is that during the Chongqing period, his communication with Xi Jinping clearly decreased. This is very likely rooted in deliberate arrangements by Deng Xuexiang, the director of the General Office. After Xi Jinping became the one and only, how busy he was can be imagined. Whether you can communicate directly, how effective the communication is, and whether your achievements can reach Xi Jinping's ears determine the impression he has of you. For example, the Minister of State Security, Chen Min'er, served as the Executive Deputy Director of the Central National Security Commission Office, which gave him a channel to communicate with Xi Jinping directly and quickly. Combined with Xi Jinping's emphasis on national security and Chen Min'er's outstanding work, this ultimately turned him into Xi Jinping's trusted confidant and led to his promotion to Politburo member. And the Director of the General Office can, to a large extent, influence the communication between local feudal lords and Xi Jinping, as well as the transmission of information. We have said many times before, in an authoritarian society, the attention of the top leader is the scarcest resource, and opportunities to have contact with the top leader are the most important political resource. Deng Xuexiang is precisely the person responsible for dividing up that attention and those contact opportunities. After the 19th Party Congress, Deng Xuexiang and Chen Min'er were two of the 4 post-60 seconds Politburo members. For Deng Xuexiang, Qiang was not someone he could afford to provoke. Chunhua did not need to be provoked. The only one he could PK was Chen Min'er. Chen Min'er's work performance in Chongqing could only be described as average. There weren't many good news items to make the General Secretary happy. Over time, it would be hard for Xi Jinping's impression of him not to decline. Second, Chen Min'er is actually not good at forming alliances. In struggles at the CCP top level, he was isolated because he lacked allies and no one vouched for him in front of Xi Jinping. Among the post-60 seconds Politburo members at the 20th Party Congress, although many did not have a direct working relationship with Xi Jinping, they generally had direct connections with Xi Jinping's old comrades in arms. For example, Chen Jining was jointly recommended by Chen Shi and Kai Chi. Li Ganji was recommended by Chen Shi. Lu Guozhong was recommended by Shi Yuanping and Li Zhanshu. Yin Li was highly recognized by Peng Liyuan. But Chen Min'er lacked sufficient political allies at the top level, especially having no origins or personal ties with Chen Zi, the key operator of the 20th Party Congress. While in Chongqing, he also had nothing he could exchange with Chen Shi. Deng Xuexiang, by leveraging the special position of being Director of the General Office, had already completed an alliance with Chen Shi and Kai Chi, which played an important role in Deng Xuexiang's advancement. Third, in Chongqing, Chen Min'er did not have outstanding achievements, nor did he have any standout performance in praising Xi Jinping. Meanwhile, other young Politburo members each had some accomplishments in their own domains. For example, Deng Xuexiang's achievements in the General Office and the National Security Commission were highly recognized by Xi Jinping. Chen Jining's achievements in Beijing in controlling smog were also known well by Xi. And Liu Guozhong, during his time in Shaanxi, organized various commemorative activities for Xi Zhongxun that left a deep impression on Xi Jinping. Therefore, in the pre-20th Party Congress bargaining game, having Li Qiang and Deng Xuexiang enter the standing committee was tied to the future power structure. Chen Jining was jointly recommended by Kai Chi and Chen Ji, so he took the Shanghai Party Secretary post. Beijing's party secretary must shoulder the heavy responsibility of taking care of the mother of the nation, so it could only go to Yin Li, whom the mother of the nation trusts. Guangdong's party secretary post had to be given to Huang Kunming, who did not enter the standing committee, to comfort him, so that was gone too. Organisation department head Chen Shi's turf had to go to the most trusted Li Ganji. It could not be given to you. The Political and Legal Affairs Commission Secretary needs to be familiar with that system. You have no foundation. You can't do it. Li Shulei has great talent. You can't compare to him. All the good positions were carved up, and they could only give you a Tianjin Party Secretary post. After the 20th Party Congress, the outside world was overwhelmingly pessimistic about Chen Min'er's prospects, believing that at the 21st Party Congress his chances would be even slimmer and it would be hard for him to re-enter the Politburo Standing Committee. But actually, not necessarily. Chen Min'er's chance to become a successor is already gone, but his chance to enter the Standing Committee is not non-existent. First, Chen Min'er is still a Politburo member, and his qualifications are complete. He has not made any obvious mistakes, and he still meets the requirements to enter the Standing Committee. In other words, he is still at the table, still in the game, and has not been eliminated. He could flip the board at any time. Second, Chen Min'er's relationship with Xi Jinping is a direct relationship, and among the post-60 Seconds Politburo members, he is the earliest one to have known Xi. Xi Jinping has feelings for him. This determines that he still has a ticket to participate in the 21st Party Congress. Whether he stays or goes is in Xi Jinping's single thought. In 2024, Xi Jinping went to Tianjin to conduct an inspection at the earliest opportunity. Third, as the gap between him and Deng Xuexiang has already widened, Deng Xuexiang has no need to target him anymore. Moreover, Deng Xuexiang has already left the core and has no way to target him anymore. If, over these few years, Chen Min'er can build alliance relationships with Kai Chi and Chen Ji, he still has a strong possibility of moving further. At the 21st Party Congress, Li Qiang will certainly have to make an exception and serve another term. Deng Xuexiang has already gotten his ticket, Chen Jining and Yin Li have basically gotten their entry passes. Zhang Guoqing's situation is also not a big problem. The remaining one ticket will be produced between Lu Guozong and Chen Min'er. Lu Guozong is already a vice premier. His workability and his ability to flatter are both extremely outstanding. His relationships with Li Zhanshu and Xi Yuanping are both very well placed, and Xi Jinping also recognizes him highly. Chen Min'er has only Tianjin this stage that is not advantageous. To defeat Lu Guozong and squeeze into the standing committee, the difficulty is still very large. Because someone who fails once often fails a second time, and it is also obvious that Kai Chi will be the number 2 figure with the greatest influence over the personnel layout of the 21st Party Congress. Yet, Chen Min'er does not have a deep friendship with him. This casts another shadow over Chen Min'er's prospects. However, the Tianjin summit meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization provides Chen Min'er with another opportunity to display his abilities in front of the great leader. If he gets more opportunities like this a few times, it can greatly increase the probability that he will enter the standing committee. Therefore, Chen Min'er also takes this summit very seriously. He has convened countless preparation meetings of all sizes, and over these years, he has also done quite a few substantive things in Tianjin. As for who will prevail at the 21st Party Congress, it really is not easy to judge immediately. This video was created a few months ago about Xi Jinping's successor issue, and now there is more information. At the September 3 military parade, Xi Jinping said to Putin and Kim Jong-un that in the past it was rare to see people over 70, but now people are still like children when they reach 70. Some people predict that in this century humans may be able to live to 150. If we follow that logic, then Xi Jinping, who is 72 this year, is still a young man. Then his long-term rule will become inevitable, and Xi Jinping will most likely continue at the 21st Party Congress. At the 22nd Party Congress, Xi Jinping will probably half retire, meaning he will still keep the chairmanship of the Central Military Commission or other posts. As a king in the prime of life, he will not choose a successor immediately. Not only that, he will also deliberately strike down anyone viewed as a successor, because those rumours affect expectations for his long-term rule. Only when his health becomes very bad, or when the objective situation deteriorates, will he unwillingly arrange a successor. Just like Mao Zedong in his later years, if that is the case, then Xi Jinping's true successor will probably have to be someone born in the 1980 seconds. From another angle, even if Xi Jinping holds no post at all with his current power, as long as he lives, he is the one who decides. The people on stage must still persist in his policies and line. That is not much different from him doing it himself. Considering the hereditary genes of Xi Zongsun and Qi Xin, the advances in the CCP, Central Committee's healthcare technology, and Xi Jinping's own physical base, Xi Jinping likely has no problem living to 100. That is to say, in the next 30 years, the Chinese people will have to live under the radiance of Xi Jinping, this great son. I don't know whether this is news that makes people happy or makes people despair. Thank you for watching.